Hello, YouTubers. Welcome back. Uh, and for those of you who are new, welcome to my channel, Pet Talks. This is a channel I've created to help create a community of people who are going through changes, transitions, or just learning in life. I think it's really, really important to learn from one another and share information. It's a really powerful tool. So I had to take a week off last week. I was going through some weakness issues, but I am back. So thank you for tuning in. I want to ask you a question. If someone offered you $1 million or access to $1 million, would you keep it regardless of where it came from? Well, I got this book this week while I was feeling sorry for myself. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. And I apologize ahead for those of you who find cuss words offensive. You might not like this video, and that's okay. You could click and turn away. But these are for the people who can resonate with this message. And I think it's a really very positive, powerful message to share. So I'm going to take you through what I learned, and it might give you some thought-provoking ideas to put your worth and value into perspective. But before I do, I'm going to share a hypothetical scenario with you. So let's just say, for example, there are two people who are invested in a company that grew a business. Let's just call them Jack and Jill. And Jack and Jill have equally invested $1 million apiece into this flourishing business. Well, one day Jack decides he's not so sure he wants to continue his investment into this business. So without telling Jill, he takes his $1 million out and asks you to hold on to it. And if you keep this secret, you can have access to it anytime. Just let him know. So now you're faced with a dilemma. If you choose to keep this gift, it's guilt in the form of trust. Is that something you can live with? Or if you do decide to keep it or give it back, then you could be losing loyalty by betrayal and you're losing somebody. So either way, you're either living with guilt or you're living with betrayal to somebody else. So this story can quantify the values you hold when it comes to your worth. And I am quoting the book when I say this. Not giving a fuck doesn't mean being indifferent. It means being comfortable with being different. To not give a fuck about adversity, you first must give a fuck about something more important than adversity. And whether you realize it or not, you are always choosing to give a fuck about something. And happiness comes from solving problems. Choose your struggles wisely. Problems may be inevitable, but the meaning of a problem is not. Our values determine our metrics by which we measure ourselves to others. And shitty values sometimes are something that is a flaw in the human psychology. And sometimes we all have some aspects of some shitty values, but if we can honestly take a look at ourselves and evaluate those values, then we can make changes to it. So shitty values might be investment in pleasure all the time, material success, always having to be right, or saying positive all the time. So what defines good or bad values? Good values are reality-based, socially constructive, immediate, and always in your control. Bad values are superstitious, socially destructive, and not immediate or in your control. So those are how we can kind of identify good and bad values. Examples of good values, of course, honesty is a good value because it's something you have complete control of over in your life. No matter what happens to you in life, you always have complete control over your own honesty. And it reflects reality and it benefits others. And so does innovation and vulnerability and standing up for yourself, self-respect, curiosity, charity, humility, creativity. Those are all good values that we should strive to uphold. Some bad examples of values are dominance through manipulation or sometimes violence, promiscuity, always having to feel good all the time, and always having to be the center of attention all the time, not accepting being alone. Sometimes you need to be, and being like everybody else, or just being rich for the sake of being rich, or sacrificing small animals for your gods. In closing, this is a really great book that helped me really process a tough decision. Not that I was ever really offered $1 million, but we don't need a book to tell us what we should value. We were all born with that inner compass, our instincts, warning us about red flags, and we could choose to ignore red flags and continue with immediate gratification, like I have many times, or we could choose to listen to how something makes us feel. And if something or a decision makes you question how you feel, then you should really take time to think about that feeling. Do you want to carry that feeling on throughout the rest of your life? If yes, embrace it, be grateful. But if that's not something you want to carry on forever, don't accept less than you are, because you can determine what values you want to uphold. And, you can make your own damn $1 million. So it's all up to who you want to be. So that's all I have today. And I hope that this helped bring value to your life. Good value, of course. And I have included a link to this book in my description box below, as well as a link to all my website, my contacts. I'd love to hear back from you guys. And if not, have a lovely, peaceful, productive, high quality, high value week. I love you guys, and thanks for tuning in.